How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffle Realit, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, today, guys, I want to talk about quite a lot of things that have been popping up over the course of the night while I was sleeping. I also have another video later today that I'm going to have, which is going to contain a ton of other hints and information that I want to talk about, as well as some things that are going to be very strange. So, I want to go through a bunch of information today, guys, and the first thing I'm going to do in this video is go through that there's essentially been another domain listing. Now, I'm reading here from Pixelbar, but I actually saw this already from PokeExperto, which I have right here, but let's just read these tweets like one by one and go through them. So first things first, looks like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee.com has been actually registered via the CSC. Now, before I continue here, right, guys, Let's Go Eevee.com and Let's Go Pikachu.com, those are fake, right? Those have been registered by somebody else. But Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.com and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.com, those have been registered through the CSC service, which is what Nintendo uses. So those have actually probably been done by Nintendo, but the ones that don't have Pokemon at the start, those are, you know, probably fake and have been done by somebody else through a GoDaddy domain. So keep that in mind, guys. That just forwards you to a Rickroll. So just wanted to point that out so you guys understand. But the other ones have actually been done by most likely Nintendo, because they always use the CSC feature for when they're actually buying up domains and picking them up and stuff. And they picked up like another one. So now they have 3 domains. The first one is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.com, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.com, and Let's Go Pikachu Let's Go Eevee.com, right? Those are the domains they actually own now. So the domains point to the same named server as the previous 2, which means they're actually going to the same actual server, which could be connected to Nintendo again. We don't know yet, but that's essentially what it does. So that is that. Now, let's go to the next thing, and that is actually, you know, PokeExperto actually posted more details here. As you guys can see, name of the corporation used here, which is CSC Corporate Domains. Whois server is whois.corporatedomains.com, and then they have a bunch of information right here. Expires in 2020, and then as you continue, you actually see, you know, just information about their site and that sort of stuff, and of course the registration here. If you open up the site, you'll notice nothing pops up. It's just going to be a blank page, and that's what it's supposed to be. If you get anything else here, then you're using a fake domain by somebody else, because Nintendo wouldn't put anything on this page. It's just a bought-up domain that they now own, and it's just blank because nothing's going to be on it yet, until eventually it's going to forward you to the official Pokemon website, and on that Pokemon website, you'll go to the section where, you know, the next games are. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. That's where you'll find them. So that is that. Now, next thing on the agenda for today, guys, is this right here. Now, this is one thing, but there is more stuff to go through as well. So first things first is, yesterday, the educational manga Satoshi Tajiri, the man who created Pokemon, released in Japan. A preview of the first few pages are available to online view here. Now, I'm gonna do that in this video, but I want to explain who Satoshi Tajiri is. This is the man who created Pokemon and who founded Game Freak. This is the man who's created all the things that we love today. Of course, you know, maybe he wasn't the individual who created every single Pokemon, you know what I mean, individually, but he is the person who created Pokemon, the franchise, the, you know, like, the whole concept of Pokemon was created by him. And this actual, like, I guess post, or, you know, not post, but like this educational manga or whatever, actually does go through how he kind of started it, and I'm going to kind of go through it a little bit, but there is something else I want to point out, and that is something down here, which was actually sent to me by some of you guys, which is relating to James Turner. Now, I'm not sure who sent it to me. I'm so sorry for not getting your name right. If I missed you or whatever, I do apologize, but one of you guys sent this to me, and it was this from James Turner here, which I'm going to read a bit later, but it actually shows that potentially we could be seeing new Pokemon in this game, because there are some from Gen 1 that were never used, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, guys. But now let's talk about this first. So Satoshi Tajiri is essentially the guy who created Pokemon, and you can kind of see here on the page, and I think it's going to reload now, but you can kind of see on the page here, if you actually look at it, that, gotta open a new page. So you can see on the page, essentially, that it shows how he essentially created Pokemon by being into, like, catching bugs and stuff. And I don't think the page is actually working. So, either way, the actual whole thing is about how he, like, you know, how he used Pokemon to create, like, this concept of going around catching bugs. You know, he caught bugs in the forest and stuff, and he loved doing it so much that he started, you know, coming up with this concept for, oh, what if we have a game, you know what I mean, a video game where you can go and catch little monsters, right, that can fit in your pocket monsters, right? And that's how it was created. And then you see right there, you see Pokemon Yellow is on the freaking page. It isn't red, it isn't blue, it isn't green, it's Pokemon Yellow is on the freaking screen. And I noticed this yesterday. I was supposed to do a video on it, but I didn't end up doing it because I just didn't have the time. But basically, you can see right there, it has freaking yellow on it. And this is an official manga, by the way. This isn't no crazy stuff. This is actually a real manga, and it's an actual real thing. And you can actually see, I think, James Turner, who is an actual developer, or not developer, but like a artist over at over at Game Freak. James Turner, if you don't know who he is, he's created like UB Adhesive or Poipole. He's created Poipole. He's also created Vanillite and Vanillux. He created those Pokemon for Gen 5 and stuff. But he's also created Pokemon for a long time, so he works for actual Game Freak. I designed Pokemon at Game Freak. I am a carbon-based biped. So, bipedal human, so I guess that. Or carbon-based human. So, either way. That's just something I want you guys to know about him. Now, next up, what is so important about this? Because he was actually one of the people to post about this. The manga about the life and times of Satoshi Tajiri, the man who came up with Pokemon and our CEO at Game Freak, is now on sale. The manga is one of a series teaching kids about notable figures. I love hearing about the early days of Game Freak, and it actually shows you like how they worked out and how things were. And you can actually see the manga here, like from within the actual pages beyond what we have so far. And there he is, the man himself. And there are some of the pages you can see and how he essentially when he was a kid. He was walking around catching bugs, and that's what inspired him to do this whole thing. But now you may be wondering, okay, so that's one thing, and you have the whole Pokemon Yellow thing in it, right? What else do we have? Well, we have this thing right here from James Turner, which is from, or rather, he posted this, but within the actual manga, there's this one page which specifically has something very interesting in it, and that is this one. So from the Satoshi Tajiri manga, early designs of Pokemon, including ones that didn't make the cut. Interesting. Huh. And this is where I get very interested, right? This is where I get really excited because this shows us there are Pokemon that were never included within Pokemon like, you know, Red, Green, Red, Blue, Yellow and stuff. They were never included in those games, but they could potentially be included today. So you can see on the screen already here, guys, there are quite a few. Now, if you look at the top one, right at the top there, top left, I'm not sure if you can, like the one, you know, you can see up there right above Diglett. It looks like a freaking... like a moose. It almost looked like a moose because it has the same like horns as a moose. Then you see like below Diglett you have a creepy like almost like a dragon looking thing, which is really odd. And then below like you know, at the bottom right there you can actually see that there's a shark that actually has a nose, and that nose looks like an anchor, which is just gonna point out odd. You also have another Pokemon here on the left side of that shark, which looks like almost a cactus, I would say. And that is another one just there, and I don't think I can see any more, but I do actually see a few more, like, names, but they could be for different Pokemon that I may not understand which ones they are, because they are all in Japanese. But there are 4 on this page that are Pokemon that we have never seen before, and I think it's the one on the top there, the one in the middle, the one at the bottom being the shark, and the one right here next to me, right over here, is one that I also think is one that we have never seen before, unreleased Pokemon. Now, I'm going to talk about why I think this potentially could be something interesting, but I want to first go on PokeJungle and kind of read what they also said here, because they actually point out the names of these Pokemon. So let's just go through and say what they have to say here. So a new manga comic has been released in Japan, which details Satoshi Tajiri's life and how it led up to the creation of the original Pokemon games. Tajiri is the co-founder of Game Freak, along with Ken Sugimori, and was chosen to be featured in the manga series, which covers notable figures in Japan. Within the manga, 4 previously unseen designs for Pokemon have been revealed. These ultimately did not make the cut and went unused in Pokemon Red and Green. So, that's what that says. In the photo of the book, courtesy of the current Game Freak employee James Turner, you can see an early design document with familiar Pokemon, but a few that should look new. Number 56 is the deer, as I mentioned, guys, the deer, and it's literally called Deer right there. It doesn't actually have a crazier name. And then you have number 62, the one in the middle right there, the really creepy one. That one is called Kuroki, which is Croaky, apparently. And then you have 67, which is possibly Cactusu, which is a cactus, which is exactly what I said. It's actually a cactus, right? And it says, thanks, Danny, here. I'm not sure who Danny is, but shout out to Danny. And then Jagu is, I think, Jag, which I think is the shark, right? I think that's what that's referring to right there. Definitely fun to see a new insight into one of the most popular franchises in the world. Out of these 4, which one do you wish was made it into, like, Generation 1? So I actually would love to know that, guys. Which one of these would you want to make it into the game? So, like, let me know by giving the names of these in the comment section. Which one of these would you want to see in the actual, you know, would have wanted to see in Generation 1? Because I think I would have loved that shark. That shark looks sick, dude. I would have loved that. But that's besides the point. Let me just kind of get down to why I think this is important. Because this popped up right around the same time. Again, keep in mind, guys, keep in mind, this image right here has yellow in it, right? Yellow. Not any other game, but why yellow? And actually, if you look on the screen right here, let me just zoom in a little bit. You may notice something. On the top Game Boy right there, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on the top Game Boy, you have a freaking, you know, you have Charmander running around, and the bottom one, I think you have Squirtle. So I guess you could say that in these 2, like, consoles, you have red and green or whatever, red or blue, and then you have Pokemon Yellow and, you know, the cartridge or whatever, or the box art right there. But I think this game is going to be Pokemon Yellow, guys. It's going to be getting like a Pokemon Yellow, either a reboot or a sequel, I think. But that may be besides the point, right? that's besides the point. Why do I want to bring up these Pokemon? Why do I bring up these specifically? Well, here's a reason. They may use these today, or they may add a new Pokemon, because here's the thing. They potentially wanted to have more Pokemon than 151. They just didn't do it. So I think there's a potential for even more of them to show up. I'm just saying, guys, there's a huge potential, in my honest opinion, that more of these could show up at any given time. And I think with these new games, that is very possible and very likely to happen. That's just what I feel like, because this just shows me that, like, they plan to have more Pokemon in Generation 1, and if they put it in the future, they could just say the new Pokemon migrated to the region, or if it's, like, 20 years in the future, 30 years in the future, like, if it is a sequel, that's what it's going to be. If it's a reboot, that's also going to be in the future, and it's not going to be set in the present time, then that would basically make sense. New Pokemon would make sense to add in, but keep in mind one very important thing, and that is the other point, which is if it's a remake, that's very much unlikely to happen. Then if it's just a remake and you play as Red and Blue, we won't be expecting much of, like, that stuff. I personally won't be expecting much of the games being, you know, with new Pokemon, new forms, all that stuff. I don't expect it with a remake. But, I don't know, guys. Either way, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below. I really would appreciate it, guys. And have a great and awesome day. Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.